Ladies and gentlemen, we got some epic 7 content today. I just went through a 3-hour stream. Getting back to the frame for streaming, alright? Check the stream out. It's on YouTube as well, on this channel. And on Twitch, so would appreciate if you check it out. But anyways, that's not about that. Today, got epic 7, alright? Balance adjustment target. And you know what? After 3 hours of yapping, I just feel a little bit jaded right now. So I'm just gonna sit back, relax, and dive right in. We got some pretty interesting characters. Alright, Moonlight. Oh, they are finally increasing the amount of Moonlight characters they buff. And they finally realize they are releasing a lot more that needs them, right? So good. And then, yep, half and half, good enough. That's like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About like 12, 15, I don't know, about that amount of characters, which is good. Alright, let's just see. What do we have? Specimen says Sage Ballsack. Conqueror Lily, what the fuck? Conqueror Lilius. Oh my god. You better not. You better not make her broken. Lionheart Sermia. Okay, that's fair. Sermia's not be the best. Same with Sage Ball. Same with Spez. I mean, Spez is like, you know, here and there. Sometimes good. Commander Pavel, not really used anymore. So looking forward to that. Twisted Island Charon. Another buff for him. Still not that great. You can see him sometimes though. Top model Lilica. Oh my god. We're actually speeding up the meta out of nowhere, huh? Fair enough. They slowed it down with Arunka. Now they speed them up. Right? That's how they do. Festive Ida. Don't know what she did. I guess now we're about to find out what she does, you know, newly after the buff. Flan. A normal Flan. Oh, they are really making it obvious, huh? They slow down the meta and click. Time for the cleavers to eat good now. We got Flan. Also, let me zoom in real quick. Yep, there we go. Summer Break Charlotte. Probably going to be a fast character. Mui, same. Lilibet. I don't know how the hell you can buffer, but sure, Sharoon, fair enough. Challenger Dominion. Another, like, aggressive character. Same with Inferno Kawazu. Okay. Alright. Let's just see now. Dive right in. Specimen says, what do we have? Increases effectiveness of this attack by 50%. It doesn't matter too much. You're not debuffing it if the enemy's not supposed to be debuffed, in my opinion. Right? Unless you go one... If this opens up an idea for 200 effectiveness spec plus the 50 effectiveness on Dreamy Iron Mace, which is S1, then maybe. But otherwise, first, I still doubt that to be the case. But second of all, I don't know if that's the smartest thing to do. But anyways, let's just keep going. Evo Claws, this is S2. Before it's 60% chance to stun, no one, like, this is so inconsistent, so it's not really that good anyway. Now it's 80% chance to inflict stun for 1 turn before granting increased attack for the capture for 2 turns, increasing CR by 50, increases effectiveness of this attack by 50. Ooh. So he just gets free 50 effectiveness for all of his debuffing skills. Interesting. The chance of the stun happening is also increased to 80 now. I said it's inconsistent at 60, so now they increase it to 80. Fire. Increased attack on cast for 2 turns before everything. That's also fire. So now you can do S2 first, get a stun, and then with 50% CR, you go with S3. Now, if you can get swift attack on him, instantly 100%, so you want S2, S3, understandable. And what about Lightstorm? Lightstorm has the whole evasion shenanigans, right? See if anything changed. We have absorbed some of the damage as health. Okay, so now we don't need to put lifesteal on him now. He heals better. Okay. Enemies defeated, inflicts extinction is the same. Everything else is the same, right? Evasion increased by 50 if it's not on cooldown. Yep, so everything is the same. Specimen says it's pretty much just higher numbers now. For damage, for chances to stun, and for effectiveness of his attack. But would this change much with how you use Spez? I don't think so. And is there counters for Spez? For sure. Would you go for high effectiveness Spez now? Maybe. I don't want to say for sure, but maybe. Because now he can lifesteal with S3. You might just lay down on like the bulk. Because before Spez, you want him to be somewhat bulky still. Otherwise, you just die to like 1 Arunka rocket punch. Boom, you're gone. So now you might want to go for a more effectiveness and bulk type deal. Maybe a mix of the two. And then you can maybe stun, make sure you stun, and then S3. I still think he has this weakness, but that's whatever, right? It is what it is. Like, considering Aram is now here, 3-turn immunity, it's going to be pretty tough, but overall, of course, he's still better than before. Sage Ballsack, pretty much not really used anymore outside of countering cleave, cutting them. Still used sometimes, I say, but not that much. What changed with you? Cloud of Ruin. So, attacks on enemies summoning storm clouds have a 100% chance to dispel 2 buffs before inflicting sleep for a turn. These spells 2 buffs now instead of 1. So now you can't just go protection set plus immunity to just say, no, Sage Ball, I will not get slapped. Now he dispels 2 buffs. Now you need 3 buff stacks to stop him. Understandable. That's fine. Grants an extra turn on the Soul Burn now. So the Soul Burn is no longer on the Eye of Death, which is his S3. This means he can S2 instantly strip and sleep. And then you can consider S1 if someone missed. Like you didn't sleep on someone, right? You can S1, make sure you sleep. Or you can S3, which after the buff, what does it do now? Attacks the enemy with an Eye of Evil. When the enemy is defeated, extends debuff duration of all remaining enemies by 1 turn. What? Okay, that's interesting. Before it's silencing for 1 turn, now it extends debuff duration. So you could sleep them for 2 turns if you kill somebody. Interesting. Penetrate Strugger's defense cannot trigger a crit. That's the same. Damage out increases proportional to caster's max health. Damage out increases when the target is inflicted with sleep. Oh. That's interesting. Before, it's based on the caster's lost health. So what you can do with him is you go into like a 1v1 in the end. It's a close game. Sage Bal is low now. You build him 20 something KHP. He's low now. He's 2k health. You can one-shot like a decently bulky tank with S3. And then you win because you got to heal. Now, you don't need to lose HP anymore. You can just do it. And especially if you do it when they're sleeping, you do more damage. Ooh. Depending on how much damage he does, he might be insane. At least he will be very good against cleaves. Because now the S3 is just a death threat. Before, the sleep's the issue. Now, not only the sleep's the issue, it's also a death threat if you let him sleep into S3. That is scary for sure. So, under other circumstances, though, will you still use him? Probably, potentially. I wouldn't say no way, but potentially. But most of the time, you're still going to use him for the cut into the sleep, the cleave team, and then you kill them, right? So, I'm not going to say I understand fully yet. Definitely not. But very interesting buff, though, that's for sure. All right, moving on. This one I have to know. Oh boy, this will be either really fun for cleavers or it will be really, you know what? Nah. It would just be a bad idea. Because you over buffer, oh, purgatory. You under buffer, purgatory. You buffer, like, as long as you just think about Lilias and you want to buff Lilias, oh, there's going to be people who love it and hate it, right? For me, neutral. Because the cleaver in me, I fucking love it because I hate the tanky meta, right? So I hope Lilias can break that. But yeah, I also know the fast meta is annoying too. Like, there's never going to be like perfect happiness, in my opinion. But let's just see. What do you do now? Before, you have cover. Distracts the enemy, decreases the CR of the target by 25. Reiterate to provoke for 1 turn. This is the S2. Now, it inflicts reiterate to provoke. It does not push back anymore, but it lands decreased defense for 1 turn. Soul Burning extends the debuffs by a turn. So, Soul Burning makes your decreased defense go 2 turns instead of 1, and the reader to provoke as well. Before, it's only reader to provoke. So this is a definite buff, but there's also a nerf in the case where you don't get the CR push anymore. Why did they remove it? That doesn't really make too much sense to me. But sure, so they removed it, but now you get decreased defense, right? I guess it's like fair exchange. Otherwise, you keep both. That might be too much. Okay, I gotta think for a little bit first before having an opinion on this. Let's just read the S3. This one's big. Ah, that is why. Now it also increases CR by 15. Not only it gets vigor to all allies and decreases buff duration of the enemy by 1 turn and decreases attack. That's 100%. Now it also increases CR by 15. Damn! Oh my god. No wonder you removed the 25 CR decrease on us too. God damn. What do we think, guys? That's crazy, no? So now S3 just instantly gets you to turn. It's like a mini... It's like a light version of Payra now. Light version of ML Payra. ML Payra gets your whole team like 25% CR or 20. I forgot the number. S2, S1, your team gets a turn. Now it's Lilias click S3, your whole team gets a turn, or your next character gets a turn, in which allows the rest of your team to get a turn. Good for cleavers, good for aggressive players, right? But does it change way too much? I think it changed quite a bit. Now Lilias is gonna be a lot more common, I think, right? Because one S3 that does everything, giving you the turn, stopping the enemy, you know, getting rid of their buff duration, 100% decrease attack, and vigor buff plus the new Hua Young is like a play. Like, okay, I can see her being around. I don't know about broken yet. Seems strong. Okay, I'm not sure about broken. Lionheart Sermia, what do you have now? So, constellation change to Aries. No clue what that meant. Do you read it? It's better optimized for skill effects. Okay, I don't know what the stat changes are. Whatever though, but the most important part, right? It's far from over. What changed this time? So, now, grants increase defense and immunity to the caster for 3 turns and increases CR by 50 before resetting cooldown. This is the passive, the S2. So when someone extra attacks, counters, dual attack, you get this. Defense increase by 3 turns, immunity by 3 turns. Before, it's only for 2 turns, and before your CR is only by 20. Now it's by 50. Wow, 50 is a lot. You can actually just instantly take the turn now. Before, it's kind of harder. But alright, you can definitely see Surmare around. If you're a bruiser player, I think. 100%. In fact, some cleavers maybe. If the enemy's like trying to counter you a lot with like a freaking green Armin, you might want to just go Lionheart Surmare. You get 50% CR, that's a lot. Okay, interesting. I don't think broken, just better, right? Just better. Decent buff. Commander Powell, what do you do? This one's huge, right? Not even a lot of things changed though. Increases CR to capture by 100 instead of 50. This is the passive where if you get max fighting spirit, you trigger this. It's a damage attack, AoE, and you get 50% CR push. The problem with this is the moment they have a Euphine, ML Euphine, boom, it's cut in half, you don't take the turn. The moment they have a Fire Politics, boom, it's cut in half, you don't take the turn. That was always his issue. Now it's 100%. That is awesome. And damage dealt increase as well. That's cool. That's cool. What about Die You Flies is S3? Damage dealt increase, sober damage dealt increase. Depending on how much is increased, depends. We don't know. If the increase is good, you sober, you can one-shot ML Runka. Fire. Love that. But still, a very counterable unit because there's a lot of things. You can counter it via CR because you can still cut it by 50. And you might still not, he might still not be able to take the turn, right? Because usually you want to play Powell-based speed to make sure he does enough damage, right? So you might still be able to cut it maybe via Arunka pushing up or ML Ilana pushing up, right? After he does the AoE. So you might still be able to cut the Powell for sure. But now it's harder. Okay? But then there's also Fighting Spirit. If you have anything that counters Fighting Spirit, he's also instantly unusable. So yeah, something like ML Politis, right? Okay-ish buff. Usable. More usable than before, but nothing broken is what I'm thinking. Now, next up, Twisted Eidolon Kairon. What do you have now? Now he inflicts up to 10% injury on Sundering Slash. Oh. Which is the S1. And what's Wandering Eidolon? This is the passive. At the start of battle, grants counter tap buff for 1 turn. That's basically what it was. At the end of the enemy turns, gains 10 Fighting Spirit. And when Fighting Spirit is full, dispels all debuffs from the caster before increasing CR by 100%. Wow. That's not bad. That is really much not bad. Dispelling all the debuffs means we cannot stop him by just stunning them, right? Out of nowhere, just 1 stun. Oh shit, he's gone. He's dead. Fair enough. It's definitely better. What about Sword of Requiem? This is S3, right? Deals 5k additional damage whether or not the attack hits. Usually when you get to do this, the game should be over. But then Fire Flag could just avoid it and then not take the extra damage, right? So now whether or not it hits, it will do that damage. That seems pretty strong. When the skill's not on cooldown, if suffering a crit grants 30% damage reduction, that's from before. Now it's removed or rather changed. When the skill is not on cooldown, when attacked, grants 30% damage reduction. So it's not just crit, it's any damage, 30% reduction. I actually think Kairon's pretty good. I actually think Kairon's pretty, yeah, pretty good. I wouldn't say strong, I wouldn't say OP, pretty good, right? Still get countered by the obvious Fighting Spirit type counter like ML Politis, obviously. What else are there? Of course, we got the Alvera, obviously. Otherwise, because of the dispel all debuffs from the caster, he might just be like the actual ticking time bomb that's pretty hard to deal with, right? Regardless of whether or not the attack hits, you're gonna take 5k damage. He's still not gonna be as strong against, say, FCC, obviously, because he does additional damage that's like, you know, numerically, like it's just that number. FCC kind of counters that. But I think there's hope for Kairon. I think Kairon is very interesting. All right. Okay. Next off, Top Model Luluka. This one has been a meta for a while. Like fast players with Top Model Luluka, right? So how good is she now? Has a 40% chance to grant extra attack with the same skill. This is S1. And they now no longer care if it's used on the caster's turn. What the fuck is the point of that? That means if you dual attack with her, you might trigger it too on a dual attack, right? It doesn't have to be on her turn. But I have seen 0 people utilizing Luluka with a dual attack. So I'm not exactly sure what this idea is. If you're saying, oh, I could go Eligos into a dual attack with the highest attack character in Luluka, or ML Tornibia, the new ML Tornibia, dual attack with the highest attack character in Luluka. Well, why is your highest attack Luluka, right? Luluka should be an opener, that's the thing. Unless we're trying to change things, but let's just see Demolish. This is S3. Everything is the same, but now, when the caster's speed is at least twice that of the target, penetrates defense by 50. Sheesh. Okay, Luluka is kind of back. She kind of back. I mean, this is big, right? Like, she can do good damage, especially with the Soulburn and everything. So, wow. And speed is at least twice the enemy target. Like, if you're targeting someone slow, obviously you're going to do a lot more damage. Even if it's someone fast, they wouldn't be as bulky, so you're probably killing them, right? But here's the deal you want to like make sure of though. When the caster speed is at least twice that of the target, means it's not proportional. It means you can't just go, oh, I'm 10 speed faster, that's 10%. Not like that. It's either you're double the speed or you're not. If you're double the speed, you get the death pen. If you're not, you get 0 death pen. So you want to make sure you hit someone slow, right? So yeah, I mean, it's just a really good buff for her. She does way more damage now, which is always welcome against someone like Arunka, someone like FCC. So yeah, I think you're going to see more Lulukas for cleavers, 100%. So let's just move on. Festive Ida, what do we got here? Before, she was like a stealth character that can dispel 2 buffs and then land some debuffs as well. Now what? Now, your S1, instead of decrease hit chance, it's a 40% chance to inflict stun for a turn. It feels like they're trying to like push a stun agenda on Specimen Says, baby. I'm just joking, though. It's probably not. When a caster stealth, increase the chance by 25. So pretty solid chance at it happening. But I usually don't see Ida being played slow. But we'll see what else though. Now, we're on the next. We got It's Okay, It Won't Show. This is the passive. When you are after attacking, when granted shyness, activates expected outcome, which now attacks all enemies, decreases here by 50, and inflicts additional damage proportional to caster's max health. She's now a max HP scaler. What? Before it dispels 2 buffs and increases here by 50, and then you can have a chance at decreasing defense. And now she no longer lands all those debuffs. She gets rid of CR, but no debuff. No dispel. What? But additional damage proportional to caster's max health. I guess she's a HP scaler now. Okay. What about let me give it a try. What about this one? This is the S3. The dispel now came to S3. Dispels 2 buffs before 85% chance to increase to inflict decreased defense and 100% chance to inflict silence. Ooh. The silence. And Soulburn ignore ER. Oh, interesting. You know what? I gotta read what the reasoning is. Festive Ida will receive overall usability improvements to enhance her performance across a wider range of situations. First, let me give it a try. Will be adjusted to include new effects that dispels buff from enemies and inflict decreased defense, increasing its utility in various situations. The current the buff effect will be removed. Okay. Expect the outcome skill. Activate It's Okay, It Won't Show. No longer dispel buff or inflict decreased defense. Instead, it will inflict additional damage proportional to caster's max health, allowing her to deal significant damage to enemies. Additionally, Alma Barrels will be changed to inflict stun instead of decreased hit chance, allowing for more consistent control of enemy actions. The Soulburn effect, which communicates got to turn, will now be ignore ER. Okay. So she's now like you want to build her with like a Luna build, ML Luna build type beat. High effectiveness if you can. High health for sure, 20k. And then you can Soulburn by holding Book, instantly dispel 2 buff, and silence. Holy shit. I think she might be pretty damn strong. Wow. Because you still get your stealth. The stealth effect is still there, so it's not easy to kill her, and the moment she touches her turn, you get the 2 buff dispel and then decreased defense plus her damage based on her max HP. We don't know how much this might be. This might be a lot. Interesting. Okay. No comment. I feel like it's strong, but I don't know how strong. No comment. Flan. How about Flan? Is it going to be an aggressive arc of E7 again? Flan. We have the S1. It now has 75% chance to inflict decreased defense instead of dispel 1 buff. Not that big a deal. Not that big a deal. It's good for a bulky moment. But then the dispel 1 buff, it's not really that crazy anyway. I don't think I ever like crutch on this one. So I would take the decreased defense over the dispel 1 buff. Fair enough. What about advantages deal? This one increases cooldown of all enemies by 1. What? Advantages deal before is inflicting unhealable and decreased defense. This is the S3. And you usually want to sober S3 into S2 and then kill everybody. So now it does not inflict unhealable. It increases skill cooldown of enemies for 1 turn. Ooh. And the cooldowns decrease by 1 turn. Interesting. This is kind of all over the place. I don't know. It seems okay. Nothing broken. I don't think it's anything broken. Because if you are gonna let a flan click S3 into S2, you are dead most of the time, right? Doesn't matter if you have increased skill cooldown or not. Plus, secondly, now that there's aram, oh my god. Aram. Now that there's aram, you have 3-turn immunity. It's hard to just have a skill that doesn't dispel and then does these debuff effects. I feel like immunity is going to be around a lot, so this one's not going to be that crazy is what I'm thinking. It's interesting, though. It's interesting. All right, what about the EE? Does it change anything big? Decreased defense chance increased by 10. Before, it's the dispel chance. All right, so now it goes up to 85. Fair enough. So it's no longer 100% chance to dispel 1 debuff, 1 buff. Okay, sure. I don't know if it fucks with anyone's PvE though, but we'll just move on. Summer Break Charlotte, what are you about? We got before 60% chance to decrease defense. That was not really that consistent. Increases CR of the caster by 25. That was decent, but herself, her damage output and everything, not good enough, right? But now what though? Right? Attacks the enemy with 2 meaty fish, 75% chance to decrease defense. Now it got increased. Just as I mentioned, it wasn't too consistent. Now it's more consistent. Cool. Increases CR of all allies by 20%. Oh. Okay. So now she's like a cleaver aggressive bridge. I see. What about hello there. This is S3. The damage levels increase. Depending on how much it's increased, it'll all depend, right? I think it's whatever. I think you can use her to bridge like a cleave or an aggressive team, but overall, there are a lot of other ways you can do the same thing, right? Because you need to dual attack to get this. Might not be the easiest thing, right? But yeah, it will also depend on how much the damage is increased. They're mentioning the hello there is not doing a lot of damage, so now they're gonna increase it, right? Depends on how much it is. If it's good, then it's good. I doubt it's gonna be too good though. But sure, okay, we'll take those. She's unusable otherwise anyway. Now she might be usable sometimes, but nothing broken, I'm pretty sure. Little bit. What changed with you? Increases CR of the caster by 20 instead of making them unable to be buffed. 50% chance. And whatever, man. Damage shot increase. Yeah, whatever, man. Snip step. This is S2. 100% chance to dispel all buffs. Crit will grant an extra turn. Oh, extra turn. Before it inflicts bleeding, which made no really significant sense outside of Banshee, right? Bleeding after the attack increases the other caster by additional 50%. I didn't even know she did that, but sure. Now she just gets an extra of your crit. Okay. Soulburn ignores FRES. It's a 10 Soulburn. Okay. What about Soul Cutter? It now penetrates your target's defense straight up. Oh. But the damage does decrease. Okay. Ooh. But then the Soulburn increased damage dealt is not on S3 anymore. This is so, it's run in the middle. Like, it's right in the middle. I don't know. It's just dependent on how much damage it is, right? High damage, good. Not high damage, bad. Right? But generally speaking, would you really Lilibet? Probably not. Yeah, I think there are just better options for damage, maybe. Plus, she just does not have good survivability. This might just be... It might be okay even in PvE. I don't know about PvP though. I think it's still just decent, I guess. Nothing crazy. I don't think we see Lilibet ever. I don't think we're still gonna just randomly see a lot more Lilibet unless the damage on S3 is poorly managed. If the damage on decrease is not that much, but then you penetrate target's defense for free, that is like free spec nuke. And let's not make that happen, right? What about Mui? Mui now has a 100% chance to inflict target. Ooh, that might be good for PvE. What about punishment though? Attacks all enemies. This is the S2. And you can have a chance at inflicting stun. Now it does more damage. What? No one uses Mui for damage. But okay. Grand Finale. Before you get 25 CR per crit. Now you get 30 per crit. This is like the most whatever. It's like the most weird buff ever. 30 per crit. So if I hit 4 enemies... I get 120, but then if I hit 3 enemies with a crit, because I miss on a guy that's a fire flat, I get 90% CR, which means I don't necessarily take the turn. What is happening? Okay, what's your reasoning, man? I'm actually confused. Enhanced skill chaining your overall usability. First, Grand Finale... I can't speak. Grand Finale will be adjusted to increase CR of the cast by 30 per crit, up from 25. Changes allow movie to gain more turns easily. Change skills more effectively. Really? You think so? I don't think so. Because you get 90% CR if you hit 3 enemies. What is this? The damage dealt of punishment will be slightly increased, while the target effect from Lash... The target is good. 100% is very nice. However, the effect chance will be increased 100, making it more reliable for inflicting target on enemies. Weird. I don't know. This is weird. Okay, just keep going. Sharoon, 100% chance to inflict venom. Fire. Not bad. Soulburn 10 ignores ER. Fire. Not bad. Okay. But it no longer inflicts venom for 2 turns. I don't know how good that is, but I also don't think it's that crazy anyway. Sharoon, like, who uses Sharoon, right? Is she good enough to be used instantly? I haven't read something like that would suggest it, but let's just keep going. To increase combat awareness of the cast by 25, so it's an increase in CR by 5, not that big of a deal. And instead of granting the random buff, it now increases CR by 25 to an ally with the highest attack. Oh, wait, let me read this better. At the end of an enemy's turn, 5% chance for each buff granted to an enemy to increase CR to catch by 25%. At the end of the turn, grants a barrier proportional to caster's max HP to the ally with the highest attack instead of the caster for 2 turns and increases CR by 25. So, if I read this correctly, at the end of the turn, it will grant the barrier. It will give you the CR regardless of anything. It will just give it to you. That's what I'm reading. Okay? So, interesting. May you perish, the S3. So, before, it inflicts decreased speed and venom. Now, it inflicts decreased speed and 2 venom effects for 2 turns. So, an extra venom? How does that work? So, it's 2 venoms. It's 1 venom, like 1 icon, plus 1 more icon now. Both for 2 turns. It's like 4 total venoms then, that means, right? 4 total venom activations. But let's read the reasoning, because I'm still confused. Will be improved to be effectively weaken enemies through venom. May you perish inflicts 2 venom. Yep, that makes sense. Just trust me, as its combat is slightly boosted. Previous effect that grants a random buff to allies with the highest attack will be changed to CR by 25%, reducing variability. Okay, so it's guaranteed you get a 25% as long as you end the turn and get the barrier. All right, so ooh, interesting. I guess you can use Sharoon with DDR in a better way, but still, I don't think you will see too many Sharoons still in RMC. I know for sure. Let's just move on. Challenge of the Minion. Supercharge. Increases CR by 25 from upgraded from 20. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. But hey, it's not over yet. There's an EE. So EE increases by 5% before. Now it's increased attack for all allies for 3 turns when using Supercharge. Ooh. So she's now more of a buffer, like a damage-based buffer. Before, the one thing I hated about Dominion was, yes, it's easy to use, but she's like a CR crutch. She just does CR things a lot, but then there's no attack buff, so she still needs to rely on allies to give herself attack buff, so you can do the Soulburn S1 and then kill something, right? So now she can get attack buff for everybody, which is nice because she just attacks buff, extra turn, Soulburn, click, something dies. Very nice. I like this. This is a very good buff. Very, very good buff. Is she broken? No. Is she good? Yes. Is she gonna be a lot used? Probably not, because well, there's a lot of ways to cleave. I don't see a lot of C-Doms. Definitely not. And there are definitely more ways to deal with books now, right? We got Emma Aria and the like. But still, solid buff. Very nice. Inferno Kawazu, what do you do now? Jealous Strike. Now it inflicts 1 burn. Before it was 75% chance, so now it's just 100. When the enemy, when the caster's granted vigor, ignores ER. What? Hold on, is Jealous Strike S1 or what? This is S1, right? Sure, if it's just S1, it's like, yeah, whatever, bro. I mean, it won't change too much of how you use them, right? But let's just keep reading. EE. Inflicts 1 additional burn for 2 turns to grant a vigor when using Flames of Destruction. This is the S3, right? Before it silences? Did that actually happen? Okay. But yeah. additional burn means he just does more damage now. So yeah, overall it's just better. Just numerically better. So fair enough for Kawazu. I mean, we'll see him a lot suddenly, no. But fair enough, I guess. Alright. Let's read what the people says, right? We got Valky here. I think this is the actual Valky, right? Hi, patch guy here. Spaz got literally everything he needs to be a real boy. Effectiveness, healing, attack buff. Yes. So I actually think, you know, it opens up more options for him. You can actually think about getting him more F. Plus the attack buff, plus some sort of bulk. Sage Ball, potentially the most broken buff in the patch since he wants ER ring for anti-cleave. The HP damage scaling determines his final power. This is basically what I mentioned as well. The HP damage will depend, right? If it does a lot of damage now, he might be actually usable a lot in a lot of different places, right? What about Conqueror plus Litica plus RW? Showed us fast units that can boost CR is illegal. This one has more strategic variety too. Oh, you mean Conqueror. Litica plus RW. Who is RW? Showed us fast units can boost CR is illegal. This one has more strategic variety too. So yes, I think that means Conqueror is pretty good. Lion, 3 Mew, 50 CR, very OP. Base stat worse though. Oh, the base stat's worse? Okay. I guess that means like the change in the constellations were worse, yeah? Sea Powell, now only slightly worse than Teiyu. I mean, still countered with the same units, right? Which that's the same with Teiyu, so it'll still depend on like the damage, for sure, in my opinion. Crayon, bunch of Q that complements Kid, good in EWC when his heart counters bad. Yeah, interesting, but E so WC only? I feel like it just generally be better, right? Obviously. TML, better at bullying turtles, fair enough. Flan, S3 can't stream, so don't matter. Yep, exactly. Charlotte, now slightly worse than A Flan. I wouldn't say that, because A Flan still has the whole evasion thing, right? Let's not forget about that. Lilibet, great event at 330 Oxlots, but so is everyone else. Okay, that's really funny. Boy, who let Lil Bro into the lab? Yeah, what the fuck was Boy? 30%? That makes no sense. Sure, solid, not much change. C-Dom, buffs are good, but popular openers don't crit. Oops. Openers? I thought the attack buff for herself is just good. Ricardo, bypass AR and Vigor. Cool. Yeah, exactly. Big thing is these changes are kicking in 8-6, which means EZO and WC participants need to adapt really fast. I will say I would not apply this if I'm Smilegate for the EZO and WC participants. That makes no sense. Just let them have the same patch, right? Why introduce this out of nowhere? That's my personal opinion though. It's been 7 years, man. Can buff this use. Oh my god. Just a picture of Luna. I'll be real. You can remove the Mui buff, because that's just a wasted buff slot. Yeah, kinda. Change fundamentally nothing. Appreciate S1 having 100% target chance. Yeah, that's like the big thing. But the rest is just weird. I don't usually comment, but I wish Mui gets reverted ever since those unfun changes to her kit. Lost hope in ever building her. This refers to a fly unit, allowed to climb in the past. When I found, scrap the crit system, bring back random debuffs. Oh yeah, she used to do that. ML Super buff, please. Agreed. Where is she? Nice patch. Now bring another important. Do not remove as a Macalus cycle. This is like been a hot topic, right? Me personally, I do agree. A lot of people like it. You don't remove it. It's as simple as that. I know having less rolls sucks, but also sucks to have to regear 25 units each month. If the problem is with regear, then add loadouts. Add loadouts for every mode. That's simple. That's what I think, at least. I just want to admit it, rework LHC. But I personally would prefer they keep the current effects and Constellation. You mean Lionheart? And just directly buffed her instead. You're gonna have gears with ER, defense, crit, and LHC. You go the ways the changes were to go through. Does it matter? I thought LHC still wants the same things, but now the buffs are just longer and CR pushes bigger though. Be proud, Smilegate. You've done well all around. Just full marks for trying to make less usable characters better. Now let's see Peacemaker Fears next month. I expected a lot more brutality in this comment, but damn, okay. A lot of people seem to be not that mad at this. Because I thought Muwei was going to make a lot of people mad. And I thought, like, not having ML Cigarette, not having a lot of other, like, you know, less popular options is also going to be an issue. But at least, you know what? At least they're increasing the number of buffs, I think. This is, like, one of the bigger ones, right? But a few weird ones, like Muwei, doesn't really change much. And yeah, the rest we'll have to see. Everything you've adjusted is basically at 0. The buff to lash means nothing. This is Muwei though, right? On Muwei. Damage increase, yeah. I don't understand the damage increase. It makes no sense. That alone, we have a clear niche. We'll have a CC unit, evasion comps. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Amazing balance patch. Big and impactful. I think this way on WC way more hype. You think it's a big and impactful one? I don't know. They really need to remove Muwei from this patch notes. Go back to drawing board. Enhance patch notes done right. Enough ingredients to cook up something. The bone's not that bad. Notice how every metacom uses hard steady. Yeah, more than Senya. You can add a little bit into the mix now. Get rid of the more that's about to revive. You just gotta use little bit on the front row with small Senya. Survive Harseti S3. Kill the Mort with S2. S3 a little bit of skill if you're confident. That is interesting. That is interesting. But you kill the Mort. Can you deal with the rest? Right? You still gotta deal with a potential Harseti plus a potential Fireflan or whoever else. Or it could be a Emma Arunga at the front. I see a lot more Emma Arunga plus Harseti plus Mort. That's also a thing. Well, little bit cannot deal with that. Which, not saying she's bad, but saying I wouldn't say little bit is now a really good way to deal with Harseti, right? I don't think it's just the case. Brigitte trying to corner. There's a lot more characters, bro. Not just Brigitte, alright? Like, they've released a lot of characters. Love the Spec Sermon buff. We don't ignore day 12. Still 0.60 epic dash. Finally, some good update. Make all units shine. I'm reading a lot because this is interesting. I thought a lot more people would be, like, complaining, but interesting, right? Not a lot more people complaining. I like these changes overall. Kind of funny how they buff half the extinction units here. As well, movie buffs, just straight up PvE buffs. Only the S1's PvE. The rest is just, I don't even know. No nerf. Luna ML, Ruga ML, Renat, Plan, Treasure Update. Alright, let's calm down. First of all, Luna, I don't think needs a nerf anymore. Arunka, I would say, I wouldn't mind nerfing Arunka. Same with Renat. But then what the hell is H7, first of all? Harseti? I mean, they already basically nerfed her with releasing aram. Flan, I think Flan is okay these days. You know, you just want to like, there's a lot more character with hit chance. There's a more character, not a lot more, but there are characters that counters focus. But I wouldn't say just equals trash update, right? The buff was still decent, okay? So, anyways, let's go back. We can conclude on this. My personal rating, ignoring what people said, I think this is a 6, 7 out of 10 buff patch, all right? It's not the absolute best of all time. It's not the absolute worst. But I wouldn't say it's just mid. I think it's good. Some improvements. Because they have a lot more characters now, I think. Or at least a lot more relevant characters. Because these are all Moonlights. These are all characters that can change the meta, right? So there's quite a bit of them here. They didn't overbuff anyone to some godforsaken extent mechanically. Don't know about the numbers yet. They didn't just get lazy with every single one of these characters, which just says, oh, plus 5% evasion chance, plus 10% defense break chance. At least there's some mechanical changes, I think, with especially someone like Sage Ball, right? And one complaint makes 0 sense. Like, what was that? And for the rest, interesting, right? I think the winner will actually be someone like Kayron, Conqueror Lilius, Sage Ballsack. Specimen says is up in the air. It depends on like his damage output and everything. Not damage output, or rather, just depends on like the absorbed damage as hell. Like this one actually, on God. If the damage absorbed is good, then he can be decently sustained. Like you can actually sustain quite well. But otherwise, you know, you need a lot of stats on him. It's gonna be quite the challenge, right? You do need effectiveness. So up in the air for now. But overall, decent buff. Nothing crazy though. And that's my take. Let me know what you think. All right. Yeah, that'll be all. You guys enjoyed this one? Take care.